Comedy Road Podcast. They don't have a song, but now they do. Everybody wants me to stop.
We got a great guest on today, Heather Pasternak. You can catch her comedy special, Slay at Home Mom, and she is what I call the queen of comedy, so let's make it happen.
Romantic.
Heather.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
What's up?
Yes. You look so elegant, too. So
Wow.
I'm
Thanks.
loving this.
I was going to say I brushed my teeth for this.
What brand of toothpaste do you use?
You know what's so sad? I'm on like prescription toothpaste because my teeth are so fucked up.
Sensodyne, or is that not?
It's
is that
like
like
something different.
It doesn't have a good
This will
taste.
send us down a whole conspiracy theory of an opening, but I heard that COVID has led people to have heightened dental bacteria issues. And so a lot of people have like, they'll get COVID and then they'll find out like, fuck, I need a root canal. You're going to have to edit all of this out.
No, we're not.
No, not at all. Like, no, no.
People want to know
Long
this.
story long, I've had a couple of root canals. Now I need a couple implants. It's all pretty sexy.
Wow, really? I heard like the Pfizer shot made women who were pregnant, like they had to recall it. Did you hear that?
No, but I did get a Moderna shot while I was pregnant. Can someone recall my baby?
I got the
Does that
AstraZeneca.
Okay.
Wait, is there baby recalls going on
Yeah,
now
I think
for
is there baby
COVID babies?
recalls?
Yeah.
I'm like,
No,
take them back.
no,
No,
they
you know
don't
what
do
people
that.
say to me sometimes? They go like, oh my God, how did you have a baby during the pandemic? I'm like, how do you have a baby without a pandemic? Like,
I know. You got.
you want me to have a child and leave the house? Like, what the hell?
Right.
Was
right.
that good?
Kind of. Honestly, it was kind of good. I didn't feel like I was missing any opportunities. I wasn't missing any
okay.
shows. I wasn't missing any auditions. No one really saw me looking fat. I was on my like
Oh.
self-tapes just from here up. Like, it was pretty sweet.
So you're making babies and doing self-tapes.
Maybe I'm just remembering it fondly, you know?
I know. It was like everybody else was like, I was home all day
I
with
think
the
I'm
baby.
just like ready to get knocked up again because I can't remember any of the hard shit, you know?
Heather's just the only person that I actually enjoyed
only
the
one that
pandemic. It
enjoyed
was
it.
fantastic.
I know, it feels
yeah.
like you're not allowed to say that, but like actually I was so burnt out from going
Yeah,
and feeling like
yeah.
I had to do 25 shows a week that it was
Yeah.
actually like, oh, we all have to stay home. Oh, no one's getting ahead of anyone in their career right now. Oh, we're
Yeah.
all just fucked together. There was like a weird camaraderie and
Yeah.
relaxation that came with knowing there was nothing to work towards for 5 seconds.
Yeah. Well, baby, you were working towards
You were working.
this baby.
Nobody
Yeah.
respects that. No, I'm just kidding.
We respect that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, that's crazy. Speaking of the burnout, like having a baby too and coming back to it, has there been any still residual burnout right
I
now?
think I actually have more appreciation for both. Like doing stand up allows me to return to mom life and feel like I actually get a chance to miss my son, or like I really appreciate the nights I get to put him down because I don't always get to. Sometimes I'm at a show. And then what's the yin yang of that? So shows help me appreciate my son. Being with my son makes me want to get the fuck out and go to shows. So yeah, it kind of works both ways actually.
Yeah.
And I think I've been able to better like set boundaries, and I value my time more. Like I wish I was able to do this before having a kid, but like having a kid made me be like, I should ask for more money. Like I should, like, you know, just, I think when
empowered
I was
you.
in my
Yeah.
20s and I was like doing jobs and shit, I was like, I can't ask them to pay for my trip to Bali. But like now I'm in my 30s and I'm like, I gotta get health insurance for
Yeah.
this kid. Like, you know, I just feel more justified and maybe a little more seasoned, you know,
Yeah.
so I think it's cool when people don't need to have a kid to be able to like stand up for themselves like that, or set boundaries, or be sort of preserve their energy. But I've like grown to do those things out of necessity now.
Yeah, it's extra layer. It seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wish, speaking of road comedy, like I did not start pursuing road gigs until after I'd had my baby, which looking back,
Yes.
I really wish that I had done that before. And I actually did some really like stupid things in the beginning where I like brought my kid to Las Vegas for the World Series of Comedy. I was like a finalist. And we'd been there for like 5 days, and I was like, so we'll take him to the pool. We'll do this. Well, what I didn't think about, kids wake up at 6 a.m. The pool opens at 10. Like, what the fuck? I was like walking my kid around like casino, smoke filled, like having him play on the stairs. Like I did not think this through. If I were to do it again, I would have gotten an Airbnb near a park with a car.
okay.
Like I ended up taking like Ubers to the park every day for like $50. Like it was like so stressful and horrible. And then I was so tired because he was sleeping in our room, and I didn't really want to use like a sitter that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So basically, it was like I dragged my husband and he ended up just babysitting out of town. And then I was so kind of sleep deprived that at the end of the competition, it was like the final show that really mattered. And I dropped this sentence from my closer that like made my closer make sense. Yeah. And I just like delivered a closer that made no fucking sense to like a room of crickets. And it was one of those moments where you're like, cool, glad I tortured everyone in my whole family for this. But by the way, the competition was steep. Like, that's not to say I wouldn't have not won anyway. Everybody was fucking amazing. But it was just one of those lessons of like, okay, you can't do it all every time. Yeah. You know, so definitely there has been a learning curve. But with road comedy, I've been really trying to prioritize places like Vegas, Arizona that are like a 40-minute flight from Los Angeles, because I have a fantasy that I'll talk my son and my husband into coming. But then every time we're in practice, it's like he's like, great, so I get to babysit like out of town, and I'm like, wait, is this even a good goal? Like, so it's like constantly shifting for me. I feel like I work really hard for these road gig opportunities, and then I get there and I'm always like, do I like this? Like, I have to check in every time.
Yeah. You know?
Did you guys have a game plan though together before you decided I'm going to go on the road? I've got a kid. Like,
are you my couples therapist? Because like, it sounds like I do. I have a therapist, and he goes, "Well, do you guys talk about how you guys are going to show up together to this difficult situation?" I'm like, "No, we talk about like, did you remember the fucking diapers?" Like, there's so many things that unfortunately it feels like it always gets put last on the list. Some of these things that would be really helpful. So, you know, once we were into day 3 of the trip from hell, we were like, okay. And it was funny because if I hadn't been advancing, we would have gone home. It was like, so it was like bittersweet every time I make it to the next round. It was like, cool, and we have to stay here for 2 more nights.
How old was your kid at the time?
Probably like 9 months or something.
Oh my God.
Maybe a month or maybe a year and 2 months. I don't know. I'm not really great at.
God
he was
bless you.
Definitely under 2.
Yeah.
And it was freaking tough.
Yeah. It's nuts. My kid's 8 months now, so
yeah.
And you did the World Series of comedy with it.
It was crazy.
Like, that's the definition of insanity.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
But we did realize, like 3 days in, we realized an itinerary really helped. And it would be stupid shit. It'd be like, okay, we're going to go down to the Starbucks in the lobby at 9 a.m. from 9:15. And like, it was funny. My husband had this moment where he was like, oh, suddenly he had this epiphany about why his mom always had itineraries when they were on vacation. Because when you have kids, it's so much easier when you're just like, okay, I know it's going to end. I know I got something at 4 o'clock. I know, you know.
Yeah.
But we survived. We're still married somehow.
I know my wife's still with me somehow. You know.
What about your road fantasies? You taking the kid and the wife, or are you ditching them? What's the word?
Well, speaking of couples therapy,
do tell.
Yeah, do tell. No. Like, here's the thing: when my wife and I first started dating, we used to go to comedy shows together, and then she would tell me, I can never date a comic.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I don't know.
You were like, challenge accepted.
I think that's what happened.
Do you think she meant I could never date a comic? I'd have to marry one.
Little did she know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one. So over
she's
time,
very supportive of your art.
She is very supportive in the sense that. If I'm going to do it, I better be making some moolah to make it happen, because she was like, "You just can't."
Money in comedy,
yeah. So no, but she just doesn't quite understand like when you get like a high profile gig, it's not just about making money. It's about the visibility that you're going to get from
it's
something.
hard to know which ones are going to lead to the thing where you make the money. It's so hard.
I'm pretty sure she knows what it entails, but
she knows she is a big supporter, but
she likes to eat. What a bitch!
Yeah, she's like, but we gotta pay rent. How the fuck are we gonna do that? So
totally.
But no, it's just about having a balance, because I was doing like 5 shows a week for a period of time, and the last I would say couple months I took a step back, and I was like, I gotta pump the brakes.
Quality over quantity as far as mics and shows go. I think if it's not bringing you joy, if you're running yourself down, you're not gonna be able to bring joy to anyone else. I think there's this old school if you're not hitting the pavement every 8 shows a week, it's I don't think that's actually healthy mentality for everybody.
The hustle
right,
culture.
and for some people it's cool, but you also have to be like, is it though?
I mean, our last he said he loves the hustle, and I was like, I don't.
Yeah, I love the lottery ticket of it. Like, I love auditioning for things where it's like, is this going to be a $5,000 job or a $50,000 job? Like, I'm addicted to that part of it, but I'm not addicted to the grind. I'm I'm down to chill.
No.
I mean, but when you first got into comedy, did you have a vision like I want to be a road dog? Like I want to
No,
make this happen?
actually, I studied acting before stand up, and then stand up became this place where it was like, oh, I could write my own script. I don't have to wait for someone to cast me in something. I think that what I really want to do is just reach people. Like my overall goal is like I want to make people feel less alone. And the cool thing is there's so many ways to do that right now. I have a clip that's like going viral on TikTok.
I saw.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Which hasn't really happened to me before, and people are like, oh, the numbers, who cares? Like it seems shallow, but when you stop and think 46,000 people hit like, that means I made 46,000 people smile today. Like that means something to me. Like that's the part that I actually get excited about.
What was in the clip?
It was I have jokes about being a weed mom.
Okay.
So
and it makes people feel like they're
less
not
alone,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're
yeah.
not bad, or they're not being perfect. None of us
What's
are perfect.
a perfect parent and
that
stuff?
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Someone commented like, "You shouldn't be proud about substance abuse or whatever." And I'm like, comedy's
Those
not about being
people
proud.
are-
It's about being real.
Jesus.
You know, it's about being like we're all fucking flawed.
Yeah. But trolls help.
To
Your
tell
algorithm.
you how to,
Honestly, if
yeah.
I'm not being, if no one has written anything like you're gonna get raped and I hate you, I'm like, I'm not reaching a wide enough audience. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the sad
Who would
truth.
write that?
Oh,
Right?
people
You're
write some
Getting-
crazy.
Getting raped. Okay, that's
Yeah.
Tuesday.
But I think I've always just wanted to reach people, and maybe I've been hindered by not being so specific with my dream of like which way I was going to do that, you know. But I think it'd also be really fun to be like on a sitcom where you got to play a character and you got to like improvise and be funny in that way. Like I don't think there's necessarily one right way to do it, but I feel like it's scary to say that because I think people frown upon stand-ups who they think are just using it to get an acting job and then like they don't really love stand-up or something.
I don't think that's what you're saying at all. I think you're saying it's another creative outlet that you've been able.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice to put in the footwork, but it's also nice to make the TV money and be like, can I take that again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't get to do that in stand-up.
Yeah, but you know, one thing I wanted to mention is that Heather is also a comedy coach, and she's
It's
an
true.
amazing
Oh,
comedy coach.
thanks.
And I can tell you because I've learned from Heather myself. What got you into comedy coaching?
Well, I was an actress in Los Angeles. I'd graduated NYU with a bachelor's degree in theater, and it was like, oh, I'm just another American girl in America. No one thinks I'm interesting or wants to rep me. And my friend Milana Weintraub, who's actually like the AT&T spokesperson, a
Right.
very talented actress and comedian, she was the one who was like, you're funny, you should take this stand-up class, Jerry Katzman's stand-up comedy class, which is like voted one of the best classes in LA. And what I love about this class is most stand-up comedy classes, they'll write for you and they'll give you funny material, but this class will teach you how to write for yourself. So I always say I took it 10 years ago and then I just like never left and finally convinced Jerry to let me teach with him, which is true because he creates this environment where you're in a group of 10 people and everybody's pitching for each other, everybody's writing for each other, everybody's wanting each
Yeah.
other to win. It's not like scarcity mindset. It's like, it's not this like, you know, image we all have of like someone in a leather jacket smoking a cigarette and telling everyone
Yeah.
else to fuck off,
Yeah.
like this lone
Right.
wolf idea.
Right.
So I just kind of got addicted to the camaraderie, and I have so much fun coaching people, especially people with different voices. Like I get to write jokes for like divorced dads or like someone who's a twin or like these point of views that, are you twin?
Triplet.
Oh my God,
Triplet.
triplet. So like point of views that I would never get to write for myself. I'm not wasting my punchline.
Yeah.
It's like, it's your voice. I'm stretching as a writer.
And
I'm
it stretches
learning-
you. Yeah,
I'm learning
yeah.
how to write in your voice. So it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
I
is.
I love what you said about the scarcity mindset of some people. It's so important to find a community, and I feel like in
Yeah.
the teaching, you're bringing in people to find a community, and it helps you in
Yeah.
this.
And just pitching them
Yeah.
punchlines and like knowing
Yeah.
there's enough for everyone. There's like literally infinite possibility of funny things. Like
Yeah.
It
just
really
batting
is.
around ideas is so nice. And some of my best punchlines have come from other people feeling generous and giving stuff to me. So definitely like all comes back around.
It really is, and Heather will create an amazing environment for comics. It's a world that's super saturated. It can be a lonely place, and
That's how we found each other.
That's how
It
we
was a
found each
lonely
other.
place.
It was at an open
People
mic.
always are like, "How did this? What is?"
Yeah,
and
tell
like,
me,
we
what's
were-
your love story?
we always get that.
we were two. I mean, we were starting out at the same time, and you know, I was intimidated. Like, a lot of comics are nice, and I'm like, I'm a nice person until
Yeah.
you push me, and then I change. But like, and I was like, I want to meet nice, decent. I was just looking for decent people, and you don't. It's hard to find in this community, and that was.
Well, tell her the real story. I actually held a sign at the open mic. I said, "Are you a decent person?"
Really?
And
No.
I was like, I'm so gullible.
She was like, I'm decent.
A decent human right here.
Gee, gosh, I'm a decent person.
Golly,
So
I thought you'd never ask.
Gee, Jiminy Clippers or whatever.
I stopped saying good, like nice, and I'm just like decent. Like I'm
Decent,
not
I'll take
even.
it.
Like,
Yeah, I didn't even say nice. I said just be decent. Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you not a dipshit?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's talk.
yeah, okay, yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's fun. It's also like teaching comedy classes. I teach people who it's like a bucket list thing. They're doing it like, you know, jumping out of a plane.
Oh,
They just
yeah.
want to do it once. And then I teach people who it's like their career. And I just have such a respect for people who are willing to be new at something.
Yeah.
I think that's where growth happens. And it's like uncomfortable to be new. So I get inspired. Like I feel lucky. I feel like a vampire. I'm like, give me your
Yeah.
enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll bring it out of people too. Yeah. Yeah, your fangs.
Some
like,
tears. There's tears coming out.
It's so much fun.
like this.
Are you laughing? White people are like crying
Yeah.
and stuff. It was trauma.
No, but it is really powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
people they come in with painful stories and like, how do I take this and take it from pain to medicine for other people? It's so cool.
Yeah, you don't need Xanax. You just need Heather's
Well,
comedy class.
Well,
And
we're really good
Xanax.
together.
Great plug. Pay this guy. Great plug. Right
Yeah,
this
really
guy.
should.
This episode is sponsored by Pfizer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Standupcomedyclass.com.
Oh yeah.
yeah, plug it.
Yes.
Honestly, that's the URL. Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Jerry Katzman, OG.
That's how.
he
Actually,
built it
that's
all.
how I found.
Oh, that's so
the
smart because
class.
when you're just, oh wow, yeah,
Yeah.
you're googling it, it comes up.
I
Well, bam.
I literally typed in stand up comedy class and then it came up standupcomedyclass.com.
like, yeah.
And I was like, wow, what is this?
Do you find that the people who just are coming in and they're just trying it once, they're a little bit looser because it's not like there's.
Yeah,
it's-
you know what's funny is people who already have a performance background are sometimes a lot harder on themselves. They expect a lot more. People who are like, I have a corporate job and I just want to laugh, like they're usually a little bit more
Free. Yeah,
playful,
yeah.
which is so interesting because you'd think the seasoned performer would be better
Yeah.
at like letting it loose, but it's totally case by case.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like if you have like a corporate job, you're like, I don't give a shit because I got a cushy job or whatever.
Right.
But if you're a creative and you're going into because you really want to make yourself better, yeah, you're gonna be hard on yourself because I'm hard on myself all the time. But but that's what we do as comics. You know, so
I think that is a good part of. Like there's the joke writing and there's this part of it, but there's also the making it something that you can do sustainably for a long time. And I think a big part of that is like positive self-talk because the natural instinct, you get off stage and you're like, I'm a piece of shit. I forgot this joke. I didn't say that right. So I think you always have to try to go like, what did I do well?
Yeah.
Like try to outweigh the criticism with the like kudos you're giving yourself.
But that's not like comics are not. No,
We're not wired like that, but
No.
that's why you see comics who do it for 3 years and
Yeah.
then they're burnt out.
Yeah.
The ones who go the long run, they found a way to actually make it joyful, actually make it feed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't
What-
think anybody goes in with the longevity, like where can I see myself or what's going to keep me in this game and fuel me because
Yeah.
a lot of it is a lot of pain coming
And
out
rejection.
of people and rejection.
But you know what? One nice thing is about stand-up is you do get that instant validation from those
the
laughs. You know what I mean?
you
Yeah.
do.
And
It's
you
a
know,
drug.
when you're an actor, you don't get that stuff. It's like you send a self-tape out or you do a casting and it's like you don't feel like you did well unless you book the part, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
1% of the
One-
time if you're lucky, you know?
Right. I just got an audition to play Babe Ruth. You know what I mean? So
Sounds exciting.
I guess you know what I mean.
Well, I feel like it's good if you don't want it that bad. maybe
No, I
you'll
do.
get it.
I do want it, but I was
That's-
like,
that's
listen,
the story.
somebody thought I was my wife's father. Now you want me to play Babe Ruth? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What-
things really turn around fast, you know? Man, life can just 180 on you. You stay positive.
Yeah. This is full dad mode right here. This is what happens to you.
Oh my God.
Was there like a point where, speaking of breakthroughs, where you were like, all right, I'm on this journey, but I'm going all in and fuck it.
I think I felt pretty addicted from the jump, to be honest. It was like, it's a drug. It's like once you get that first, you kind of know if I'm envious of people who I'm like, oh, you tried it once and you never need to do this again. What must that be like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think I've always felt really committed to it or known that I was going to keep doing it. In fact, I think what's interesting is the more positive enforcement or outside validation I get, the more I'm willing to take a step back and go like, evaluate, like, wait, am I actually still getting something out of this? Do I actually still want
chill,
this?
yeah.
Like, when I got my late night set on the Colbert Show, I was so excited. I felt so validated. It was so great. But, you know, doing your first late night set, it's like losing your virginity. Like, looking back, I'm like, I do it a lot different, you know, but it was so cool. And I remember right before I went on, I had the runs. I was so freaking nervous.
Like
Lena talks about that all the time.
and they were like, stop telling everybody that you shit before I've shit in every comedy
Yes. I was so
Lena
nervous.
has the runs at the Comedy Store every time.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Her name's on the wall, but it's in the bathroom smeared and shit.
I
Exactly.
have shit in every freaking bathroom. I found a little one that's tucked.
Yeah, and I just had this moment where I stopped and I was like, wait, do I want, is this what I want my life to look like? Like, is this what I worked
Just
so
a
hard
runny
for to like
mess.
have fucking diarrhea? Like, I was like, do I even want to do this anymore? Do I like this? Like, I really had this existential moment. And then it was like a roller coaster, like all that fear, all that anxiety. And then it was like, as soon as my set was over, I was like, call Kimmel, I want to like, I was like, just like, oh, that was so fun. But, you know, I think it is important to kind of stop. And I used to do a lot more shows in Long Beach or San Diego for stage time. Now that I have a kid, I really go like, okay, is the 3-hour drive really worth like the $50? And the laughs are a lot better outside of Los Angeles, right? But yeah, I definitely have gotten better at just not feeling like I have to say yes to every opportunity. Like my success fantasies are the things I get to say no to.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I mean,
quality. Quality over quantity. And
Yeah.
I don't think we know, like, the no, we're told, say yes to everything. Yes, yes, yes.
Or when we think like, when you ask me, like, when did you go all in? When are you committed? I sort of associate that with when were you like, I'll do it, anything it takes.
Yeah.
You know, but I think the older you get more like, well, what am I willing to compromise? Or you get better at not feeling like your worth is as tied to your success as a comedian or who you are professionally isn't who you are. It's not all of you. You know, I think having a kid made me feel much more of that, like able to separate those things a little better.
Yeah, it definitely changes you.
Right?
Having a kid changes your whole perspective. And
I know I used to want to be famous. Now I just want to have enough money to hang out with my
So,
kid. Like
me
I don't
too.
care about the glory as much
The
anymore.
joy, that same thing. It's not even real. It's not a real thing, and I think some people put that on themselves. Like that is the end all. I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna end up killing yourself. Please stop with this.
It's like anything. You get the thing you want. I mean, we all move the goalposts, right? I think it's always good to try to remember. What's that thing about? Like, remember when you wanted the things you have now?
Yeah.
Like,
and then you want more.
And then you want more. Yeah. So.
Grass is always greener and stuff. I think you were saying something about quality versus quantity. Like when were you able to start saying no and like? Yeah,
I think it's just from literally like after that Vegas trip, like things where it was like, oh, I'm gonna end up divorced. Like I need to just you know what? When you are a people pleaser or an overachiever or whatever, like I'm used to running myself ragged for other people, but when you are the partner of that person, it takes a toll, right? It starts to show up on other people. It's like, what, babe? What's wrong? So what? So I promised we'd host 16 Thanksgiving dinners. Like, what's the problem? You know, like it starts to sort of bleed over onto your partner, and that can help you see it more than you would see it for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it was just out of necessity of like literally not having the bandwidth. And I think the pandemic really reinforced this feeling of like, oh, just because you're doing it slowly doesn't mean you're not doing it.
Right.
I love that. That's a great, like.
We found the slogan.
Yeah. Just
We're done. Did we
done.
peak?
Yeah. Hey guys, cut. But
because people do feel like if they're doing a lot, they're doing something.
But I find that what I end up doing is I do a lot okay as opposed to doing less really well. So it's such a hard thing to measure.
But you say quality versus quantity, and I think you're living proof of that because you have built up a name for yourself, and it's not necessarily you're traveling on the road every single night, East Coast to West Coast, but you've been able to do it within a certain market and build yourself up, and you're headlining.
Thanks.
And so,
Thanks for saying
look
it
at
like
the
that.
sigh of relief. She's like, fuck yeah, that's what happened. All right, yeah. So
yeah, it's cool. Honestly, the best thing about headlining in Las Vegas is saying you've headlined in Las Vegas. No, but it's really fun. I'm so excited, and Schuster's coming with me.
I am?
You're coming.
Oh my God, I'm doing Vegas?
Oh my God, don't even look
But
over
yeah, I
there.
think it is cool to be strategic. Like, pick cities you like going to. And I mean, I will try anything once. Also, I think a lot of my...
Why did we laugh?
I know, you sexy fucks.
I'll tell you.
I also, like, I feel like friends and relationships go a long way in this business, but also with road gigs. Like, I have a girlfriend, Jade Catapreda. She's the one who introduced me to the Kimmel Club, where I've been headlining. She's like amazing at just championing other women. She's known for doing like all female lineups and always like, she's just such a supporter. And when I go on like work trips with her where I'm featuring for her, I'm opening for her, it really is like, oh, this is like a girl's trip disguised as a road trip. Like nobody tell my husband how much fun I'm having. Yeah. So like in those scenarios, it's like I could go to any city, anywhere, and I'd be having the best time because I'm with people I like. Yeah. So I think that's the other thing of like, if you're headlining, surrounding yourself with people where it's like you're able to give an opportunity and have a good time. And it's not that you necessarily have to hang to be good in this business. Like I used to get really frustrated with that, being like, I'm a kid. I can't like hang at the Comedy Store every. Did I say I am a kid? I have a kid. But Freudian slip.
I mean, we all believe we're kids at heart.
Yeah, but so. Like, you know, I don't always feel like I have the bandwidth to hang. I'm like, can't I just be good at my thing? But I think it is a balance. Like you'll gravitate towards the people you're meant to, and you guys will help each other, and you'll do the work when you're meant to do the work. It's like you can't do all one or the other.
And if it's not authentic to you, like I don't hang out after. I'm like I'm spent after a show. I'm tired, and I want to go home and watch The Flash. That's everybody, and I'm gonna
Is
finish.
That your go-to?
That's
Flash?
my go-to, and I'm gonna finish it. But like people like to hang out, and they're like, "Well, why don't you sit?" Because I'm tired.
You know, one thing that I've really liked doing recently is when I get like into these modes where I want to complain or I want to feel like, oh, these things aren't happening for me, or I'm not getting this opportunity I want. I feel really disempowered in that moment. So what I try to do is I go like, well, who could I give an opportunity to? Like what upcoming comic can I kind of be like, put on a show, or be like, hey, do you want to talk through that joke, or can I give you? And it makes me feel so much better. It's like that thing of just create the kind of, if you feel like you're not getting enough opportunities, go give some opportunities to someone, and
you get it back. I bet.
Yeah, you just flip the script. It just gives you such a better feeling, like when you're operating from that place of I have a lot to give versus why isn't anyone booking me on their shit? Like, you know what I mean? So, but we all have those feelings, and you always have to fight the comparing and all the long list of things we don't have yet that we want and all that.
That's actually what happened.
See what you do have though too,
right?
And be grateful for that. Gratitude goes a long way.
That's what happened with Vegas. Like Heather's like, we're doing a girls trip. We're all getting pedicures and manicures, and I was like, well, I'll do it if I have to. She's like, okay.
That's gonna be our next
Jason.
promo video.
Okay. Y'all doing his nails, and that would be hilarious. Y'all are like,
Jason's just like, can I get the callus removal?
Yeah, I was like, here, can I get? You don't want to see this, all right?
I don't like dudes' feet at all.
I have socks on, and Crocs.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Crocs. So
I'll talk about Crocs today.
So what's something that's going well for you guys in stand-up comedy while we're talking about focusing on the positive?
Are you turning this on us right now?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Oh, wow.
No, is it refreshing? We're narcissists.
Is it refreshing? Because like, do guests ever ask you guys enough questions about yourselves?
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I did a special, and I'm
that's sick. What's the special called?
It's called Daddy Issues, Death, and Dildos.
Yes, Triple D.
It was scary but fun. It was like that moment of anxiety even leading up, and I remember thinking, I wish a natural disaster would happen so I don't have to do this.
Oh my God, I know that
and then
feeling.
I did it. And I was like, whoa.
I feel like I only ever know if something's worth doing if I have a feeling right before where I'm like, should I just not?
That's true.
You know?
Every time I have that feeling,
you're like, oh, this is about going to be something good.
I never.
So where's your special out? Is
I
it
did
out
it.
yet?
It's still being edited, but
cool.
I'm excited because I pushed myself, and it was I got uncomfortable, and I like to get uncomfortable, and that was a new way of getting uncomfortable. So it was fun, and I'm just ready to like do more creative stuff. I made a comic book. I was just like, I want to create stuff.
That's
and I'm
cool.
You've got a podcast?
In a podcast. Yeah.
We're
right here.
Are you on the podcast right now?
I think we are.
Oh, wow.
Unless we're in a simulation.
What's going well for you?
I'm alive.
You have a kid?
He's on 3 hours of sleep.
I'm on
he's
3
still
hours of
married.
sleep.
He has a son.
Yes.
Well, you had a big goal that you manifested.
Yeah, that thing works, guys. The manifest stuff. What the fuck? You know, that stuff works. Yeah. So I did manifest that I was going to do Vegas by the end of the year, and
We're going,
here we are, baby. Yeah. So and then I'll be at the Improv, Hollywood Improv, at the end of December as well.
That's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Love it.
And that's about it. Besides surviving fatherhood, you know what I mean?
That's a big
You're
one.
more than surviving.
No, my kid's awesome, and he's like, he's such a cool little guy, and he's fun, and loves Miss Rachel. No, but like,
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Hey, look over at the camera.
I know. I told Heather before the show.
Is
I've
this
never.
an episode of The Office? Because that's what I've been treating it. Like.
Have you been given the?
Can we get that close up right now on Heather?
Yeah. That's what you're doing.
Just you guys are talking. I'm like,
Yeah. No, Miss Rachel, I haven't, like I said, I told Heather, like, I've never loved and hated somebody so much in my entire life.
Don't make us get mean, like lose fans or anything for saying that. She is a huge.
Oh no! We're plugging Miss Rachel right now.
Don't you come for Miss Rachel?
Don't fuck with Miss Rachel. All right, yeah, no, but. What else is going on for you, Heather?
Yeah, what are you
after
excited
this whole
about?
Vegas shindig?
After all that, I mean, you have a special that's out and everything. Like you have.
I'm just working on stuff. You know, I'm honestly what I'm really excited for right now is the last 2 weeks of December. They're gonna slow the fuck down.
Is that?
I've been going pretty hard, but I will say I get a lot of anxiety about posting on social media. And posting regularly, and I look at these other comics who have like the perfect camera and the best captions and the cool edits, and I'm like, I'm a mom and I don't know how to post anything, and I can't use Facebook, like, and I just feel, I get down on myself about it, and so then I posted this clip that went viral, and I just had this feeling of like, oh, you know what? You don't have to do it perfectly. Yeah. You can just do it.
Was it one of those things where you went to bed and you woke up and there was like no
and I
one
was
to
like,
do?
am I trending? Yeah, it was. But it was just a nice, and it doesn't always work like that. Listen, that same clip that's got 2 million views on TikTok right now, I put it on YouTube and it has 7 views. Like, it's a real crapshoot. You never know.
Balance?
There's all these little things that factor in, and you know, I don't always get that validation, but it was just a reminder of you don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to do it, and maybe the right things will like pan out. I don't know. Is that possible?
I mean, I think so. It, you know, depends how you look at things, but yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Tune in next week.
On the next.
Does it make you want to continue doing that and like
putting? It does, but it also like when I look at it, I'm like, did I benefit from stressing about it? Mm-mm. Did I benefit from like, you know, and it's like, no, like I think that's the first clip I posted in months, and it was kind of like, cool, maybe I should just take my time and do it when I feel like it, and try not to be so attached to the results.
So you manifested like quality versus quantity.
Yeah,
and
baby, we're full circle.
Did you like that bring back just now?
Good callback.
Yeah. So, but there is something to say, because I think a lot of us comedians were so focused on this social media aspect of how we're building up our brand and getting the algorithm to work with us,
to like us.
You like me. You really like me, but. It's tough. You know what I mean?
I think just not being as hard on myself. Also, I don't know if this is something about being in my 30s or being a mom, but I feel like I genuinely want other people to win so much more now.
That's beautiful.
Like, I used to feel more competitive with people, and now I'm like, everyone is someone's baby. Like, I know it's like cheesy, but I'm just like, I want people to win. Like, when I see my friends or my peers.
That comic has a mother.
You know what I mean? No,
that's really, somebody's grandson.
I have that in the back of my head.
When I see someone and they got a special or they got an opportunity that I would love or whatever, they sold a TV show, I'm just like, holy shit, it's possible. We're doing it. Look at you. Like, I feel so much more genuine enthusiasm. And I think, I don't know if it's just getting more comfortable with yourself or something, but I know when I was younger, I felt a lot more of like, that means there's less for me, like, or something, you know? Yeah. And like, now I just feel more, you know, actually Jerry Katzman has an amazing metaphor for this. He says, when other people are getting successful around you, you got to think of it like you're popcorn, and it's like, oh, that kernel popped and that kernel popped, and I'm in the hot spot, and I'm sure I'm going to pop next, you know?
Yeah. It depends what brand of popcorn you're talking about.
So I don't know. I think I've been like really enjoying rooting for other people. Like, and when I have time, there's so many people where I'm like, oh fuck. Like, we have. Do you know Leah Rudick? She was in Jerry Katzman's comedy class. Familiar. She's really big now on TikTok and Facebook. She does characters, and she just had a special come out, Spiraling, and I haven't had a chance to watch it. But it's like the things I'm excited about is like my life slowing down, so I can like watch her thing and like plug her shit, and like Leslie Liao, who killing it and came out on Netflix. Like, she's a friend. I haven't even been able to watch her like Netflix set yet. So like, I don't know. I'm just enjoying like taking the focus a little bit off of me for a second. Is that allowed?
No, but it makes you. It seems like it's giving you, like, it's rejuvenating you.
Yes, I come back so much more ready to like participate and show up fully when I just am like a little bit kinder to myself, a little bit slower, and a little bit
kinder to others too.
Yeah,
but I think that comes back to you being a comedy coach, like. the amount of people that you've taught or worked with, and to see their success.
It makes me so happy.
It's super cool.
It happens fast for people. It happens slow for people. Even just seeing someone who, they may not get famous, but maybe they came to class and they were struggling, like they were going through a divorce. And by the end, they're like, oh shit, I see what's funny about this. I connected with a bunch of people I didn't know also were feeling that pain or whatever. Like, that's so cool.
You should be paid twice because you're like a therapist and like
comedy therapist. Most positive comedy podcast.
Well, actually,
people are going to be like thumbs down.
No, we've had like a lot of, and it's great information because a lot of people view comics as like dreary. We're so sad, but seeing happy people and seeing that they're using this craft and they're still staying sane and they're not these like droopy people, zombies. It's good to see because we don't want to just be stigma of mental health and and shit people.
Well, and I think, I'm over 10 years into this, so it's gotten easier. I remember in the beginning I would like eat shit at a show and I would wake up in sweats. Like I was like, and now it's like, I think it's such a gift where I go like, oh, I had a bad show and I wake up the next day and I'm like, I still love myself. Like I feel like it strengthens your relationship with yourself to just not put so much importance on this or that, and you just get back on the horse and try to do better next time.
Because there's always going to be a show, so it's like you get to do it again. I hear so many comics say, "I'm going to kill myself after a show." Like they're literally are like, "I'm going to kill myself because I had it," and I'm like, "You get to do it again."
Yeah. Wake up tomorrow and just go to another show. It's okay. Ain't that serious, dude? Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. But especially people who are like, this is my prophecy. This is what I'm going to do forever. I'm fulfilling it right now. And if you shit the bed one night, big fucking deal. Like, because guess what? You're going to wake up tomorrow and no one's going to give a fuck.
I try to let go of the I know for some people it really works to really see very clearly, like, this is where I'm going. This is what I want to do. For me, I feel like one of the more interesting things of life has been that I don't always see where I'm going. And so I'm kind of like welcoming the surprises. I'm like, I'm putting one foot in front of the other. I think I'm going in this direction, but if I get led another way, like...
It's cool.
Go with the flow.
As long as we're having fun.
As long as we're having fun, baby. That's it.
That's my New Year thing about, like, if it's not bringing me joy, I'm not even leaving my house for it.
She's Marie Kondoing her schedule.
Yeah, I'm told completely. Like, I'm not leaving my house for it if it's not going to put a smile on the face.
Lena's been hibernating, actually. She just came out for the podcast today.
Oh, really? That's nice. I do a lot of sleeping. I'm so jealous. Take us with you.
Okay.
What is Flash? I don't even know what that is.
The comic book. Is that what we're talking about? What is this Flash?
It's a DC comic. It's a show, and it's about this superhero who has so much heart. Like, I don't know if you notice, a lot of superheroes kill people. Like, they don't care about human life. He doesn't, and everyone points him. Shut up, leave me alone. Everybody's like, please. I even do it on sets, and they're like, can you shut up about the Flash? I'm like, no.
Oh my God.
Now I'm wearing red today because the Flash. No,
this is a Flash podcast.
I need that.
And I'll be right back. No, just kidding.
Okay, I'll stop talking about it, guys. I'm sorry.
I was going to say in a flash.
Yeah, all right. Too easy.
I know.
Don't take the easy ones.
Well, I mean, I had to. All right, so
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know.
That's a go. Like, hey.
I think I'm just gonna get pregnant again. It seems easier than trying to get.
You keep saying this, so you're probably gonna get pregnant again.
You know what's funny? Our last guy, Zane Lamper, we had on. He's friends with Bert Kreischer, and I said to him, "Well, Bert Kreischer's got abs now." He's like, "No, he doesn't. He spray painted those on." So I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, but it has to come off eventually.
But I'd like to work on another late night set. I'm in between representation right now with the strike and everything was crazy. So I'd like to get some new reps that I feel are pumped about me. Like, I want to feel more like, it's dating and like it's easy and it's like, oh, you're my person. I haven't had that in a while. So I'm single on that front. And
I've never actually had a conversation with my agent. She just sends me stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
That's weird though, because they need to know you as a person. Especially
you would think, but I think there's just like at this point, like after the pandemic, they're just like, let's just.
Yeah.
But does your reps like get you out into like shows and stuff, or are you doing that?
I have commercial reps that get me out a lot, who I love. But I haven't been repped theatrically or managed since the pandemic. I ended up leaving my reps. It was just like a weird time, and I wanted to hold out. Like, I think when I was younger, I felt more like, if I don't, every day I don't have a rep, I'm missing an audition. And now I'm like, no, I want to just, like, I want to meet someone who's, like, excited about me. And, you know, I'm at a level now where it's like my friends are selling shows and doing shit. And, like, I feel like opportunities are going to come find me when they're right for me. I'm just trying to have a little bit more trust and a little less like, it has to be now. Why didn't it already happen?
Yeah.
You know?
I love Heather's modesty as she's like about to headline Jimmy Kimmel's.
I'm headlining Jimmy Kimmel's
Sunday night. Yeah.
Let's go.
Like she's like, I just want, I just not. You're headlining Jimmy Kimmel's.
You know what my favorite thing about doing road gigs as a mom is?
You get
I get to sleep in a hotel room by myself and I wake up at fucking noon. So it's like, I'm excited to headline. I'm also excited to sleep.
You probably haven't slept in like, when's the last time you've like slept in?
Yeah, like probably like 3 years.
Jeez. Oh, I feel bad for y'all. What?
I feel like it just becomes the norm. Like
yeah,
it just
it
like
does. You get used to it.
Yeah, like yeah.
No, I love
There's
sleep.
no sleeping in. I mean, like you become good at napping. Sometimes you go to sleep at 9 because you're so fucked from being alive.
Yes. That's how I feel. I'm so fucked up right now.
And then
I
they
just
go
wanna
through little sleep regressions. But sometimes it's good. Like there was a time where my kid was sleeping 7 till 7. Isn't that sad? That's good.
That's amazing.
That's 7 to 7.
But it's not like that anymore. Now he goes to sleep at 9 or 10 and wakes up at 6:30, 7:30, and he comes in our bed at like 6.
Okay.
Which I actually like.
Are you doing you're doing that whole morning routine? Yeah. Yeah.
So
The balance. How do you balance all like is there a secret? You're just like
you neglect yourself.
Yeah.
It's not a balance.
It is. It's true. I have a friend who said this. She said, every week I feel like I can do 2 things. I can either be a great mom, take care of myself, or take care of my career. And I have to pick like 2 out of 3 every week to just do well. And I think that when that is the reality, you end up putting yourself last a lot. So it's just... It's hard to prioritize.
So, well, you should prioritize yourself first so
because then you can do
show
the other
up.
things better.
Yeah, for everyone else. And that's like super important. I've been listening to much Oprah too. So she's been talking about like prioritizing, let me say that right, yourself over putting
so
your
you're
family
not like
and
a
stuff. Yeah.
Huge bitch
Is that how you've been showing up?
I definitely have had some not proud parenting moments when I get frustrated and I'm not sleeping and I'm not taking care of myself. So yeah, but you know what? It's also good to be a work in progress in front of your kids. Like they're not going to get a perfect parent. So like, my kid, I've fought with my husband in front of my kid. I've not been my best self in front of my kid, but then we try to make up in front of him too. I try to say like, oh, mommy lost her shit a little bit back there. Mom's also working on her big feelings. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, what else can you do?
Why don't you just have your kids become your booking agent for shows?
Well,
Just pick up the phone.
I feel like everybody now is like, oh, you have a baby, like you can't do as much, whatever. But like, give me 10 years, he'll be doing my clips, and you'll all be jealous.
What if you just teach him how to call right now? Get on the phone.
I think it's great. I think it's great that you talk a lot about that in your special and in your stand up about not being a perfect mom because people need to hear that, and we're told, like, especially as women, we have to be able to work. Come on, take care of the kids. And it's like, no, like, you're a human being.
Well, you're going to do it. You're just not going to do it all well and not all right or not all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that influenced a lot of, is that going to influence a lot of your comedy going forward? Or, like, is that where you're pulling a lot of your...
I think that there is a lot of societal conditioning that makes women think we have to, like, do it all right and do it all and... Yeah, I hope that my comedy will continue to be that, like, other voice that people need to hear of, like, it can be messy, it cannot look good, but it's hard. Yeah. It's like, sometimes I think the best comedy comes from the thing, sometimes when I sit down to write, I go, like, what don't I want to talk about? Like, some of my best jokes right now are about being a weed mom. Now, am I proud that I'm getting up on stage and ultimately the subtext is sometimes I have to get stoned to hang out with my kid? No, I'm not proud of that. That's not cool.
But it's so funny and it's so real.
But it's so relatable.
It's so relatable.
Because you get up and you go, hey, I don't want to fucking feel this way, but this is how I feel sometimes. Anybody else?
You're not feeling... I had a friend who asked, she was like, how long can I keep smoking weed until I'm pregnant? She was like, will it affect me? I was like, girl, I don't think you could do that.
Can you let me know how that turns out? Because there's not a lot of field research and we need more information.
There's not. So you can't.
There's a lot of things when you're pregnant where you try to look it up and it's like, we have no idea because we haven't. There's not a bunch of pregnant women that are like, test this. Like, let's see what happens. So it's a really hard... But I know there are some women who do.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was too afraid to, but
Yeah.
I missed it so fucking much. Like, being pregnant was like the first time I was sober in a long time.
Yeah. Was there any like?
The
Was there
only
any
thing I'm
foods?
afraid about.
Oh,
I was like, I've not been sober.
well, there's certain foods you can't eat too. You got to understand.
There's a lot of
Jesus
shit.
There's a lot of
Christ.
shit.
The hot bath. You can't, like, there's a lot of fun stuff you can't do.
And my wife was sushi deprived for
Yeah, the
months.
sushi deprivation.
I heard about
Sushi,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
I knew
that's-
about it. I could give up sushi, but
Yeah, like,
fuck,
forget
I
sleep.
didn't think about. I've not been.
There were sometimes there's certain fish that are higher risk than others, and towards the end I was like, fuck it, and I would go to sushi restaurants, and I felt like people looked at me like I was smoking a cigarette, like, because I had like a
Because I
big
know.
belly and I was eating raw fish, and it was like, come at me, bro, like,
What you got? You know.
yeah.
What you
People
got
are
on that
jud-
nigiri,
people are
right?
Really, really
Judgy,
judgy
yeah.
of parents, and even
Moms.
parents are judgy of other parents. We all
Yeah.
do it to each other. I don't know why, but
I think now for my wife, it's just like we just getting into a basic routine. Like what we do now is we get our son to bed, we both take an edible, and we watch The Beauty Queen of Jerusalem.
yeah.
That is what we
That's
do
a
on
beautiful
Netflix. Great
thing.
show, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just about like just finding little things that you can do to like break from reality for
Yeah.
like 30 minutes of your life. You know what I mean? Because that kid's getting off
Yeah,
at
he's
some
getting
point. and I wanted to go back to the grind of like comedy. Did you ever produce shows?
I did produce shows. I think it's a really good way to get good. It's a lot of work, a lot of stress. The best way to get good fast is to host. It makes you really comfortable. And the cool thing about producing is you get to reach out to comedians who are better than you and start forming those relationships and inviting them to do things and getting to know those people, getting to know venues. But I think, I had always had this idea. I was like, you have to be on a sitcom before like you can do a road gig, because that's how you'll get butts and seats. And so I didn't prioritize road comedy. But now that I'm older, I realize like, oh, you could actually just work on your road relationships. So I wish I had done some of that sooner. I also just wish I'd asked for opportunities. Like even now, I see a comic who I think is really great, and I'll be like, hey, I'm working on my road relationships. If you need an opener, like just being humble. Even though I'm headlining some places, I'm still open to featuring somewhere where I don't know anyone at that club yet. And a lot of times that doesn't lead anywhere because everybody's booking their friends, but you never know. Maybe there's going to be the time where someone gets sick and they go, oh, who was that girl who was like really down to host? Or people will be like, oh, there's a Mother's Day show. Like people will think of you for random things that you like fit for. But I think asking for those opportunities, reaching out to clubs, talking to other comics, another comic gave me a good thing. She said, you should email the club and say, I'm working on my next special. If you ever have a one-nighter, I'd love to headline. Little things that I didn't know before, just ask for a one-nighter so they don't feel like they have to commit to the whole weekend with you, or letting them know you're working towards a special so they know you have a certain amount of material. Now, we're all always kind of working towards a special, so it's not a lie, but just knowing how to phrase things in a way that is primes you, or looking at the calendar for the booker and seeing, oh, I know that headliner, I'll just reach out to them and see if I can feature for them, like making their life easier somehow,
It's true. Like I found the way I was getting on some road gigs is I would say, hey, I'm featuring for this comic on the road, would you be interested in doing a door deal? And I tell them who the comic is, obviously, and we were working together, but it helped because it wasn't just like, hey, I'm just want to come by myself, but it's how you take an angle and approach it and then think outside the box. Or like I'm from Baltimore, so I knew I could sell out a venue there because of
strategic,
not like a huge venue, but like I took Lena on the road with me and we did Baltimore and we sold out 2 shows.
That's awesome.
And,
it's a lot of fun. Baltimore is
and we had a great time. Yeah, and she
oh my God,
yeah,
did you tape them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And Lena is now a part of the Schuster family.
Part of the family. I was adopted.
So you guys get it. Just being a little bit strategic about how you're going about it and asking for more things. Like
that's the big thing. Asking.
Everybody
for
has this fantasy that like people are going to be knocking down their door asking them to do a show, and even when you have credits, even when you've been in it a long time, that doesn't always happen. There's still times where you have to reach out and go, hey, I'm working on this. Can I get a spot? And one thing that producing a show teaches you is you realize you book the people who every week ask if they can have a spot, come to your show and show up, because the squeaky wheel,
that's
gets
right.
the spot.
That's right. But I also wanted to know, you don't have to be on a sitcom to get on the road. Like once, like
what did that come across like being? Because it wasn't people who were on sitcoms were able to.
It's just you can get butts and seats, so it's another fast track way. Like if you're on a funny comedy TV
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
that can usually translate to road gigs, and you don't have to come up the same way that
Yeah.
someone who's not a name has to come up,
Yeah.
where they have to put in their time as a host, they have to
True.
put in their time as a feature, they have to build the thing. The club has to believe in them and start championing them as a headliner, even when no one's buying their tickets.
Yeah.
True. But if you want to be like a true road dog, you can
Yeah.
build up your name by getting the credibility, having the credits of doing like X amount of like known clubs,
Yeah.
and then use that to your advantage too.
Also,
So
when you're first starting out, mailing lists are really good. I have people, I make stickers, like put your QR code on
You
your
have, yeah.
sticker where people like can follow you online. And I know a girl who would do a thing where she'd go, the stickers are donation, or you can give me your email. And so then she would get people's like emails
Oh, yeah.
for after the show. Like everybody, you know, it's just what do you have the bandwidth to do? But every little
That's-
bit helps. And if you could get people to fill out like an email and where they're from, then when you're in that city, you can hit up that person and those kind of like. The problem is with comedy is it's become, you have to be good at marketing now.
That's what I was about. Like you
And
have.
it's tough.
Yep.
But I mean, like, that's where the other mindset of mine comes in, where it's like, do what you can. Like, and if it feels awkward and it feels uncomfortable, it's because, yeah, you didn't study marketing. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
You know, that's why you're not good at it yet. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Right.
another thing to be new at.
nobody teaches you how to be a comedypreneur, but you've got to learn how to
His
become one.
name
Entrepreneur.
for it, yeah.
Oh my
now,
God.
like because that is an aspect, that is something that we've been talking to the guests about, like that aspect of not just the creative, but getting your shows, you booking your own shows and stuff, and you're reaching out to people, and even if you don't have representation, have you had comedy representation before?
I've had personal appearance representation and like
Okay,
people who got me my late night performance stuff, but like a lot of bookers don't get involved until you're selling out tours
Yeah.
and stuff. You know what I mean? Like usually you can just have a relationship directly with the club and that's enough, because there's usually not a big enough cut for that to be interesting to someone until you're like Matt Rife, you know?
Yeah. Crowd work is
Yeah.
it's a big thing right now. But I also wanted to touch on something that you do too, is you do a lot of corporate stuff,
Yeah.
right? So you're able to work clean, and working clean
Right.
gets you in the door with those things. And you formed a company, right, called the
we
Comedy
do-
Partners.
Yeah, the Comedy Partners, which we do basically team building and performer skills for the corporate world. So it's like showing people in
Yeah.
corporate jobs how to be more authentic and how to channel the charisma and likability and fearlessness that comedians have. Like, we basically translate heckler stopping skills for sales trainings. How do you turn opposition into opportunity is what we say.
Stopping skills.
Yeah, that's what an advertising company
Wow.
actually found us, because they were having creatives who worked at the ad agency. They'd pitch a big, $1 million company like Nike, and they'd be like, just do it. And they, we spent all this money on a spec. And then Nike would be like, that sounds sexual. No. And they didn't know how to defend their creative. They'd be like, okay, sorry, bye. And the agency was like, we just spent $300,000 on this commercial. Like, go sell it. So they brought us in to kind of show them, how do you get, the same way when a heckler, you don't shy away and go, okay, sorry. You get curious. You go, you think I'm shitty? Oh, why? Until you like find the funny thing, So we translate that stuff. We also do some corporate shows, but that's been a lot of fun, because it's like, I call it structured vulnerability. It's like, no one wants to be that one weird person at work who's like, I'm going through a divorce, but like, if you have a structured vulnerability exercise where everybody's sharing something about themselves, they people bond and they work so much well together after that. So it's been a lot of fun. It's also like, when I do stand-up shows, it's like I'm one clown among many clowns, but in the corporate world, it feels like we're like, oh my God, the ice cream man is here. It's like the fun guy.
You're shiny.
Yeah, so that part of it is really fun. And I think, obviously corporate money is a little bit better, but it also feels like we're adding value that hasn't fully translated into the corporate world and is so valuable in that context.
You do corporate gigs too, right?
I
With
do them
clean.
too, yeah.
So clean, just so we can like define it, it's different for every
It's different. For some people it's PG. For some people it's PG-13. Some people it's about word choice. Some people it's about concepts. It's not my favorite way to work, because you should be a little bit more careful.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people where it's like, if you tell me like you don't like cursing, then I'll be like, what the fuck?
Fuck,
Like,
yeah,
I
that's
immediately
me.
want to so much more than
yeah.
I normally would.
But it pays.
But yeah, there's certain things like you could have a joke about sex, and as long as the punchline's not like clit, you know what I mean?
You
like,
can't say the word.
Yeah, you can change it to like, so we were fooling around.
Yeah.
And suddenly that's a clean joke, But if the punchline is like, he came on my chest, you're not going to be able to like clean that up. But most jokes you can. You can
Is
find a way
weed
to clean it up.
Can you say weed?
In California, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
It'd be like drinking, But there might be some state where it's illegal, where it's not cool.
And it's not. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it would just depend. But, it's one of those things where I sort of feel like if you've got a corporate gig, you know, you ask them what they want, but then it's like, don't ask too many questions, you know, or you'll box yourself out of having any material. So it's kind of one of those things of like, you know, do you ask for permission or do you ask for forgiveness?
And do
There you go.
get fired and never ask back.
Well,
Right.
since Heather dropped it, and I'll say, speaking of desserts, we have one final question for you.
Oh, I thought you were going to say dessert.
We can make that happen too.
I'm like, I was looking for it.
This episode is also sponsored by Baskin Robbins.
I wish.
Are you going to edit this or is it just going to be all like...
It's edited.
Yeah.
If there's anything.
Can you just make me look good? Like when you asked what I had going on next year and I said nothing, can you take that out?
No, we're
Actually, added it back again.
Can I say it 3 more times?
I know.
can we just dub in world tour? Yes. No.
Opening for
Are we?
Taylor Swift.
Are we? Yeah.
I want that.
That's amazing.
That
yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
Me and Tay Tay.
Yeah. Heath and Tay Tay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Everybody says it.
it. Is that?
Are we trending?
This goes viral. She's like, hey, why don't I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I only said it. You said something about ice cream, so I wanted to say in your corporate thing you mentioned that, but I wanted to ask you what your favorite ice cream is right now.
My favorite? Oh, right now? God, I want
In
to give you like,
general.
the whole timeline.
I mean, we can go back in the day.
Old school, like
Yeah, old school ice cream?
OG ice cream.
Yeah, OG.
Mint and chip from
Mint.
from Thrifty.
Isn't that
Pre-Rite Aid.
Oh.
from right? I know. I
The
never even
thrifty
knew.
one. I've had this.
It was good, and I don't even like the sugar cones. I like the shitty cones that taste like cardboard.
Like no, they literally take like
I love
thin
it.
cardboard.
I love
Yeah,
it.
right.
And the ice cream gets packed in there. Okay,
Right.
but now that I'm
Currently?
a bougie grown up,
Yeah.
I really like salt and straw, salted
Don't we
caramel.
all? But what's your go-to with salt and straw?
They have
Salted caramel.
Oh, yeah. So see, I get the
What are
honey
your flaves?
honey lavender from Salt and Straw.
Oh, that's a good one. Take me to the spa, right?
exactly.
It goes with your pedicure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I like the chocolate, right?
You said honey lavender?
I'm telling you, I'm
She's
not.
lost so much respect for you just now.
I know my man card. My man card just
Oh my
dropped.
God.
I'm like, I
I've
like
never
honey
seen a
lavender.
friendship end in real time.
Yeah, and that's how the podcast
It's like,
ended.
did that come out a little too like what? I've never heard you
I
say
say
that.
it with confidence because I never would have thought that I would have liked an ice cream like that, but they had this bomb ass honey lavender thing. I mean, it's
You don't need to
delicious.
say it again. Don't say it again. Save yourself.
All right.
What's your favorite? She's like dick. I like dick cream. Book me for your corporate.
I like wine with sherbet, like a mix of that.
There's
like
a
that.
wine flavor?
No, I make it
Oh,
myself.
she just
We'll
pours
be
it on top. And you're
Just-
fucking telling me Thrifty is disgusting? Oh my God. the double
It's so good
standards.
though. It's so I like sherbet.
That wine and sherbet thing you're talking about.
It's so good.
Jason's
Look, how he's
look at-
judging
wow,
me now.
You guys are really
This is how the
split on
podcast
this.
ended
Oh my
today.
God.
Yeah. But I will tell you, if I'm going to go OG real quick, they have it out here now. Carvel ice cream had these ice cream
Carvel.
cakes
They
back.
don't have
in-
Carvels out here.
Oh, they do. At Ralph's now. They have they have these Carvel ice cream cakes, and it has these crunchy things on them, and it's
I love ice
it's just
cream
stupid good. Take an edible, eat a
Okay.
Carvel ice cream
I'm gonna
cake.
have to ask
We
you.
need to. She's like, I'm on one
Yeah.
now.
Heather, thank you so much for being on
Thank you for
today. We had
having
a
me.
great
This was
time.
so much fun.
Heather,
And-
Heather.
I love your new theme song.
I know. You got to sing it again to close us out.
And
If
tune
I
in
could
next time.
remember it.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, wait, can you just sing the theme song to close us out?